What's up, Arizona? Welcome into the 12 Sports NFL schedule release show. Cameron Cox, Doug Franz. Man, you're listening to this everywhere today. Not only are you joining us on 12 Plus, but you're listening to this on the Doug Franz Unplugged podcast
I am
as well.
hijacking this.
Yeah, we're all the above, right? That's what happens when the NFL kind of hijacks May. Is that what's taking place, Doug?
It's a brilliant move by them, and it has been for a while. Nobody gets like this in any sport for schedule release. And what's even crazier is ever since the end of the 2024 season, we already knew who the opponents were. Yet you still go crazy. And listen, I'm part of it too. I go crazy as well.
You know, you take out that big calendar, Doug, that everybody has on their desk, right? Or that people keep at home, and they're like, all right, where are we going?
Yep.
We're going here. We need to book. I found out today that, like, people book flights, like, today. Like, they start planning.
I would.
All the above.
Hey, why not fly into New Orleans for week one, but drive up to Starkville and go see ASU Mississippi State on Saturday and drive back to New Orleans and see the Cardinals on Sunday? It'd be great. And maybe wear some Perry stuff and support the Shooks.
There we go. All right, here we go. Let's get to kind of all the news of the day. Cardinals going to open up the season on the road in New Orleans. The home opener is week 2 against the Panthers. Remember, the Cardinals won 6 games at home last season, most since 2015. They got 2 national TV games, a very tough stretch to end it right there. 3 of their final 4 games on the road. The Cardinals, of course, coming off 8 wins. Year 3 for head coach Jonathan Gannon. They've doubled that win total each year under JG. Will they do it again? You heard Doug mention week 1 against the Saints. We'll maybe see a former Valley product, high school football product, start for the Saints, either former Hamilton quarterback Tyler Shuck or former Pinnacle QB Spencer Rattler. Week 4, that Thursday night football game, national TV game, home against the Seahawks. I like the bye week around there. Week 8, early in the season. Hadn't been that way in a while. You got week 9, Monday Night Football in Dallas. Kyler Murray, 9-0 playing games at AT&T Stadium. And then that cold weather game out there in Cincinnati, week 17. Before we hear Doug's thoughts on this whole schedule, let's get some reaction. Our friends over at the PHNX Cardinals podcast.
The schedule sets up well for the Arizona Cardinals to get a quick start, starting with the Big Easy against potentially 2 Arizona products, some inexperienced quarterbacks, an opportunity to show the growth on defense. I love that they've got the 2 primetime games. You have to earn a lot in the NFL, especially when you're not in like the biggest market. You're not in New York. You're not in LA. So look, they have the opportunity, I think, with this schedule early on to maybe turn some heads and maybe get that flex game later in the season. How about that murderer's row at the end of the year? Last 6 games, Cam, I mean, they're going up against the teams, 5 of the 6 over 500 last year. The one team that's not was just a game under it in the Atlanta Falcons. Luckily, the Cardinals get to welcome them to State Farm Stadium. They're going to have to really earn this thing if they want to punch their ticket back to the postseason. Kyler Murray, the narrative around him, can he win at the end of the season? Like, he's really got nowhere to run, and the only way he can get this done is if he, finishes strong.
All right, so how many wins, Bo? Tell me. I'll tell you. I said 12.
You know what? I like that. And I know people are saying, well, it's more linear than that. It's not. And I think if you have as much talent as the Cardinals believe they have on the roster, they've revamped what was their biggest weakness, the defensive front 7, that they should make a considerable jump. They doubled their win total last year from 4 to 8. I think that they should be able to make a similar jump for about 3 to 4 extra wins. That should put them right around 11, 12. I don't think that's crazy.
Thanks a lot, Bo. Guys, I got my phone out real quick. I want to get Doug's facial reaction. 12 wins, Doug.
When you said 12 wins, what is that? Why aren't we wearing Cardinals hats and everything?
There we go. All right, Doug, when you looked at the schedule, what jumped off the page right away? The first thing you noticed from the schedule?
First thing I noticed from this schedule is very simple. If this team does not make the NFL playoffs, somebody should be fired. Ooh. This is the easiest schedule in the NFL. You get that start that you've already mentioned. Why not start 5-1, possibly 6-0? You really should. But the one thing that I always look at, first thing I look at when it comes to a schedule is something nobody else checks, and it's called rest games. When you look at the schedule, this is an unbelievable advantage for the Cardinals. There are 0 teams in front of you right now that have their bye weekend before they play the Cardinals. Yeah. Nobody has 14 days off to get ready for the Cardinals. The Cardinals get their bye week going into a Monday night game. Sure. So they've got extended rest, and the only team that even has a Thursday night game before the Cardinals, if you look at the bottom, you see that Falcons game. The week before, the Falcons play on Thursday night. So they'll have their mini bye before coming here. Another tremendous advantage. The LA Rams in week 18. They play Monday Night Football in Atlanta.
Sure, wow.
That means they're going to be in Atlanta, fly 5 hours to get back to L.A.
Yeah.
They're not going to be in their car until 5 in the morning on Tuesday. And then they've got to get ready for the Cardinals. That is a must-win game for Arizona to end the year.
You didn't know Doug Franz was a travel agent, right? People at home. Did you know that? That's like half his job sometimes.
How many times do you see a team that's well-rested, ready to go, new game plan, they run you over? Cardinals never deal with that.
Doug, at the beginning of the year, I really like some of the teams on the card. Like, listen, you say it's one of the easiest schedules in football.
Yes.
To me, it is, without a question. Like, this is so favorable, and it's really more favorable than I think I've noticed in years past.
Right.
Like, the Cardinals have added talent. We know on the defense should be a lot better. The offense, they got a lot of playmakers coming back. They've kind of doubled down on all that offensive talent. It's like, hey, listen, we gave you all this talent. Now go prove it, right? Go make something happen, and the defense should be better. Look at the early games. The Saints. You don't know what you're going to get out of the Saints, right? You don't even know who's going to play quarterback. Carolina's still Carolina. Just because they beat the Cardinals last year, that was a game that Cardinals easily should have had if that defense was just a little bit better, unproven. San Francisco, I feel like the Cardinals have owned them in recent years too as well. Seattle's always tough, but you don't know what you're going to get out of Sam Darnold if he's going to be anything like he was in Minnesota last year. And then, of course, Tennessee, another team, unproven too as well. Indianapolis, unproven. Green Bay, tough. That was a tough game for the Cardinals last year. But, Doug, I see 6, 7, 5 wins right off the rip.
I think 5-1 should be a fair expectation. And I always look at this aspect of the schedule. Every year you're going to play new or young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Sometimes the big question is, when do you play them? And then you look
it's good to get them early, right?
You look at that schedule, you get to either play Tyler Shook or, like you mentioned a little bit ago, Spencer Rattler in week 1, not truly ready and embracing in the Saints offense. Then number 2, a couple weeks later, you're going to take on the Texans and Cam Ward in week 5. So now the Titans, excuse me, yes. So now you're going to get the Titans and the Saints early in the first 5 weeks when their quarterbacks really aren't truly rolling. That's just another example of the benefits this team has. Do they pay for it later? Yeah, it does get a lot tougher in December. But to start the year, you've got the momentum of a 5-1 team.
You got the momentum, Doug, and you got kind of expectations, and like this rebuild, you got to hit the fast forward on it, right? Like enough's
the rebuild's done.
Yeah,
it's done.
Is the honeymoon over?
We don't even use that.
Okay,
honeymoon's over. Rebuild's over. This is a team that should go to the playoffs, or someone should be fired.
No question. All right, and I like the bye week that early.
Yep,
because we've seen it so many times just so late in the year. And I think that takes a toll mentally on a team because they keep looking forward to when do we get a break? When do we get a break? And then they get it so late in the year, then you got to ramp back up. I like the fact that it's early in the season that they can then kind of find their way at the rest of the way. What do you think?
I always want the bye week to be at the halfway point, and it's more about human nature than anything else.
Sure.
When you cover the NFL as long as we have, usually what ends up happening, whenever the bye week is, it seems to be exactly where it should. There always seems to be a guy that needs one more week coming off the injury. But when it's in the middle of the year, it just seems to give the players something to look forward to. Give you all you got for 8 weeks, now relax, take a break, and then get through the home stretch.
Because you got a long stretch ahead. Like, it's not just like they got 6 games after the bye week. I mean, that's a whole nother season coming up for the Cardinals after the bye week after Green Bay.
Yes. Selfishly, I love it being late around Thanksgiving because then it doesn't interfere with the Maui Invitational. Go Devils on that.
Always, right?
Always travel. Always Hawaii. Anyway.
Back half of the year, Doug, what you looking at?
Back half of the year, I think, is death, and that's why it's so important to go back to the beginning and make sure that they get that 5-1, 6-0 record to begin with. You mentioned it in the intro. The Bengals every year struggle at the beginning, and then they catch fire at the end. So
it's going to be cold there.
You got a cold weather game for Christmas, and you've got a great quarterback in Joe Burrow and a team that's fighting for the playoffs. I just look at every team in that bottom row as a team that's going to be fighting for playoff position. Yeah. And you look at some pretty good or at least winning quarterbacks that are in that group, minus maybe Michael Penix, and I think he is going to prove himself to be a winner. So that bottom row, look at the strength of the quarterback position for every team that you play.
Yeah, you got, of course, the Rams who made the playoffs last year. You don't know how good they're going to be. The Texans, they're tough. Bengals are always tough. I mean, divisional opponents too as well. Teams always pick up at the back half of the year.
And the fact you don't play the Rams at all until
the end.
December, January, it's weird.
And the Rams are always weird. Some years you just think, oh, hey, down year for the Rams. They're not going to be
Yeah.
that good. Then all of a sudden, there they are, just a pain in the side.
But really stress your point about the cold weather game.
Yeah.
I think that's huge because you look at the schedule, everybody that the Cardinals play, it's either in a dome or it's a nice, comfortable game. So they don't have anything to worry about. And then the shock to the system will be that game. One other advantage, though, weather-wise, is you don't play Tampa Bay in September when you're going to have a vicious amount of humidity. Yeah. At least they play them later in the year around Thanksgiving.
All right, Doug, you ready to do something new?
Okay.
I think it works.
All right.
We hoped it worked. All right.
What do we do?
Yeah,
we're
kind of teeing it up for football season here on 12. Doug, of course, going to join us on Locker Room Sports tonight. We always have a lot of fun. We get some new toys here in the studio. We got a new touchscreen. So, Doug, I'm going to send you over to the touchscreen.
Okay.
Yeah, hop up, run. Be really excited about it, right, Doug? Oh, I thought they were going to show you running.
Well, that was a good thing to not show me running. There you go.
Doug, all right, just point out some things that you really want to see this, you really want to look at the schedule. What are you looking at?
I would say the number one thing was the easy one, and that's right here when you have a bye week going into Monday Night Football. I think that's the easiest thing in the world to have that extended time frame, and you're going to have a little extra time to get ready for Dallas. I also want you to look at this stretch of games that I think is really, really difficult here, and that is these three at the bottom. That'll be Tampa, that'll be LA, and that'll be the Texans. When you look at these teams right here, my big issue there is the fact that you're going to have to travel 2 out of 3 weeks right there. That's going to be very, very difficult. And your first time playing the Rams. So you think about this stretch, potential humidity, but not terrible, as I said, in Thanksgiving. But what do we see with Tampa? They're always fighting for the playoffs late in the year, and they're well coached, and you're on the road. Long trip, 11 o'clock in the morning, body clock time. Same thing with Houston, 11 o'clock in the morning, body clock time. So that sends you off a little bit as a team when you play that early, and it's 2 of 3 on the road, plus a very difficult game with the Rams. That would be my toughest stretch. You give me 2-1, 3-0 right there. Yeah. And I say you've got a playoff.
Doug, before I ask you to come back over here, how about after the bye week? Dallas, Seattle, any concern there? The Cardinals have been terrible after bye weeks.
They have been, and that's something that Jonathan Gannon has to get fixed, but I don't worry
any
about
Cardinals coach.
Yes,
pick one over the last handful of them, right?
Cliff's got all kinds of problems, okay?
BA, we all took the bye week and just couldn't come back and play.
I'm not worried now because of the point I said about man games. You get a rest all the way into a Monday game against Dallas, and the other thing is, they're going to be fired up. Yeah. Everybody on that team knows how much it means to Kyler Murray to go to Dallas and try to beat the Cowboys. Yeah. And the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. This is right around the time it's November. That's time for the Cowboy choke to happen. So I'm not worried about that. The Seahawks game, that's very real. I mean, how often has this team struggled since Bruce Arians left when they go to Seattle? Almost every year, except for the years that Bruce Arians was here. Yeah. They always lose in Seattle. So yes, that's a fair stretch to look at and be a little bit nervous about. But I'm not too worried. I think the Cardinals will do well through that.
All right, run back over here, Doug. You remember when BA, after they beat Seattle a handful of times, where he was like, welcome to my house?
Yes.
He walked up to the podium and he was like, hey, welcome to my house.
Yes.
Thanks for coming. Everybody get home safe. All right, I'm going to walk over here now.
Oh.
Yeah. Now see, they showed me.
Why isn't he running?
No,
where's the energy?
I'm not gonna hurt. So, Doug, my key at all of this is the front part of the schedule. We've talked about it kind of different times here. But I think all these games are winnable. Don't give me – come on. The Saints, you don't know what you're getting. The Panthers, you don't know what you're getting. They've dominated the 49ers at times over the past handful of years. That defense can get after Brock Purdy. The Seahawks, listen, at home, it's nice to have them back on a Thursday night on a short week. Listen, you don't know what you're going to get out of Sam Darnold. Cam Ward over there with the Titans, you don't know. Anthony Richardson's unproven there. Green Bay's the only tough one. That was a game last year.
And you never know if Anthony Richardson's going to check himself out of the game, too.
You still haven't let that go, have you?
Never.
Never, yeah. You don't know what you're going to get in Green Bay. So to me, if the Cardinals can start, I picked them to go 7-0 heading into the bye week. To me, that's a perfect time to kind of get all the momentum. Listen, it's going to be tough coming back after this. I don't like 3 of the last 4 on the road like that. No matter what, it just sets up kind of a tough stretch to end the year. But to me, if this team is the team that I think they're going to be, there's no reason. 6-1. 7-0 heading into the bye week, I think is very achievable, right?
I love your point on week 3, week 4. And the reason why I'm looking at those two games is, number one, you have a Thursday night game in week 4, but it's home, so you don't have to travel. But where do you travel from the week before? You don't have a long flight from San Francisco, so you're on a short week without having to get stretched out at all. And those are two divisional games that are going to be fired up. So when you look at week 3 and week 4, if Thursday night football is death, but that's the easiest way to have a Thursday night football game, and it's against an opponent that you know, so you don't have to kill yourself when it comes to prep.
All right, before we bring in, we got some guests here in the studio hanging out and just watching us all chat. Before we bring them in, Doug, how many wins? Oh. You know, I feel like he's close to what I'm saying.
I'll go 9.
You want to say 12.
No, I don't. I think you're nuts. I think 9 is nuts.
I'm getting weird looks here in the studio.
I think you've pushed me into this to even go as high as 9.
No, this defense is going to be really much improved. And this offense, if it's 9, I don't know where you go from there with a lot of the pieces on this team. You got to figure some stuff out. That's not enough jump.
You keep talking about this defense, but when the defense is playing on short fields all the time because of Kyler Murray's interceptions, then how good are they?
Well, it's a big year for Kyler. We know that.
It's the year for Kyler. Because you can cut him after this year.
And I'll say this, they've doubled down on him. That's the whole point of this. Listen, they had to fix the defense. I think this is a defense built in JG's eyes, just like we've seen with the Eagles. Like, they got guys that can hit you from all angles, and they'll attack you and they'll be physical. But they clearly doubled down on the playmakers they have on offense, who they have already. And they're basically saying, all right, hey, guys, we picked you guys for a reason. We gave you money. We paid you. We brought you a number 1 receiver. We paid the tight end. We got a running back. Like,
when 2025 is over, there will be no more questions about Kyler Murray. The answer will be easy for everyone to figure out.
All right, put up the schedule one more time. Doug, real quick, how many wins you got?
I said 9 because I felt pressure.
Well, no pressure. How many wins?
I'll stick with 9 because I do think they start the year 5-1.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be a tremendous advantage.
So 9. You said 9.
Yes.
I said 12.
You're crazy.
What are we doing on this?
Oh, well, I'll go golf.
We'll go golf?
Yeah.
A round of golf?
Round of golf at Whirlwind Golf.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll bring our friends with us. Joining us now right here on the 12 Sports NFL Release Show, Tyler, Eric from Bird Gang Travel Club, our good friends over there. We've been on many trips with you guys.
Yes,
y'all fired up?
Sir, we're fired up. It's like Christmas morning.
Pumped.
I know y'all been waiting for this for a long time. So, like, just as a fan, what does this day mean to you guys?
This is Christmas Day for us. Like last night, literally, I'm like, it's Christmas Eve. You can't go to bed. You're getting excited to see where you mentioned earlier. You're booking flights. You're planning where you're going to stay. All that stuff. Yeah. We do that for everybody.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We'll take care of the hard work.
Yeah. Our flights are booked already.
Yeah,
it's
already done.
Yeah.
By noon they were booked. Yeah. We followed all the leaks. All the early releases, we were going back and forth like crazy all over Twitter and everything as far as that goes. It was, we had to jump on it quick.
Favorite city on the schedule?
New Orleans week 1. I'm excited for that. We did New Orleans 8 years ago and had 950 Cardinal fans marching down Bourbon Street.
It was unbelievable.
It was
Cardinals
crazy.
marching in?
Yeah. It was a crazy
Saturday before the game. It was awesome seeing.
Okay. Yeah, it was awesome. And we even had a special guest at our party. We had Post Malone stop by. Only things that happen in New Orleans.
He's a lot bigger though now, so I don't think he's going to crash.
I don't know if he'll be just popping in a random bar in New Orleans. But yeah, excited for New Orleans, excited for Dallas on Monday night. We've gone to Dallas a couple times and both come back with wins. And
Kyler Murray's undefeated there.
Yeah. Eric, just so we know, so you got 2 trips coming up. One New Orleans, week 1 in Dallas. Why those 2 cities?
Just because of the draw. I think New Orleans is fun. It's a party town. Beignets I'm looking forward to. Again, like Tyler mentioned, the parade. We got some special things planned. We're going to announce shortly a special alumni guest for the trip as well. So it's going to be really exciting. Dallas as well, great. It's a great town, great city. Nothing better than going in there and beating the Cowboys.
As an Ohioan who grew up 45 minutes from Riverfront Stadium, let me tell you both, I'm offended that you didn't want Christmas in Cincinnati.
You didn't, really?
How amazing would that have been?
Yeah, we looked at that and we were just no cold weather games for us. No, we're good without the cold weather.
Guys, Cincy is part of my stadium checkoff list, so I will be going, but we won't be doing a huge trip. It'll be a very small gathering in Cincy over Christmas.
It's cold there, Doug.
That's why you eat Skyline chili.
Oh, you're going to need more than that. You're going to need a couple of jackets. Guys, what did y'all make of the schedule? Eric, we'll start with you. When you look, are you as optimistic as me?
Well, I'm usually not. You know that right off the bat. Every road interview you do.
Yeah.
But I'm going 10. I'm one up in him. I'm going 10 wins easy this year. It's got to be 10.
There it is right there. What do you make of it when you look at it?
I mean, the first part of the schedule looks great. I do love that schedule with the bye. I'm kind of sad about Tampa. We wanted to go back down there to Tampa too, but it's Thanksgiving weekend. It's a little hard for us to pull off. But yeah, we should. I mean, 10 is easy.
Okay. So you got 10, Doug's got 9, I got 12. Tyler is usually not as optimistic sometimes as I am. So do you want to?
I'm definitely not doing 12. You're out of your mind on 12.
Okay. You want to give a prediction? Because usually when you give me predictions, I know he doesn't give predictions.
I don't.
When I ask
Somebody
him
hit the
for
record
predictions,
button on this.
Yeah, when I ask him for predictions, they're most of the time wrong.
Well, I don't like jinxing things.
Okay, gotcha.
I will say I am in the 10 to 11 win area. Not as far as 12, but I can. Looking at the schedule, I can see 10 to 11. You got the AFC South, you got the NFC South.
Yeah.
You got a third place finish schedule. I mean, to me, it doesn't get any easier for Kyler to prove himself this year, as you guys were mentioning.
There's a lot of optimism up here, guys. Do you get the sense of that talking to fans? Like optimism that finally, as Doug said, the rebuilt world, we'll throw it away, right, Dougie?
They should be optimistic. Yeah. Look at this schedule. It's insane how easy this schedule is. And big point by Tyler, it rotates around.
Sure.
This just happens to be an NFC South, AFC South year.
Yeah. So what kind of level are you reading from fans, guys?
I think after the draft and after free agency, you look at that defense. The defense was very well coached last year.
Yeah.
Not a lot of talent, no disrespect.
Sure, yeah.
They played out of their brains.
Yeah.
So now
they kept them in a lot of games too, as well.
Exactly. They had a 3-game stretch where it was like no touchdowns, or there was
and they were right there at all those games. Yeah.
And so now by adding the pass rush, you're going to think that we're going to get more turnovers. You know, you would hope you get more fumbles, you get more from the pressure from our new pass rush.
Yep.
And then you also got the secondary that's going to be beefed up as well. So hopefully you get some turnovers on that side of the defense as well.
Love the draft pick of Will Johnson.
Yeah.
Eric, how about you?
Yeah, I think we're close. I think we're a defensive player away.
Okay.
There's somebody still floating around out there from a certain Cincy that we won't name names.
We need more pass rushers?
Maybe.
Maybe.
And then maybe we're an extra wide receiver away. So
I think so
maybe
too.
Monty cooks something up here right before the start of camp, and we bring somebody else in. But I think we're close.
If you were to ask me like what the Cardinals still needed, I think another wide receiver. And it's nothing
100%.
against Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch, but like I just wish they would have got a speedster in the draft to kind of take the top off the defense. You know, it's interesting looking up some old games. You know, some on the schedule. The last time the Cardinals were in Dallas, and Kyler Murray throws this beautiful ball,
one-hander to
Christian
somebody.
Kirk, like who gets just past everybody.
Yep.
You just want to see them have that kind of explosive ability on offense, and they just haven't shown that.
Yep.
And so,
but even though you're right, I love the idea of a wide receiver. I'm going to go with Eric on this because if you can pull off a Trey Hendrickson move, and right now,
you said it. He said it.
They're not. I
He
don't
said
care
it.
about jinxing it.
He
But when
said
I
it.
look at that, I would say the odds makers say the Cardinals are about the 5th best option when it comes to making that kind of move, and that changes everything. Who are you going to block in that front 7 if you add that piece? You have a weakness in the secondary that dramatically saves you when you don't have to cover that long when you have that kind of pass rush.
All right, guys, we got about less than 90 seconds to go here. Eric, how excited are you for the season?
I'm ready. Like I said, my flights are booked already. We just need the fans to show up.
Yeah.
And you know, the Red Sea always does on the road. New Orleans is going to be fantastic. The parade, hopefully it just keeps going down Bourbon Street for the entire day. And then Dallas, of course, between the barbecue and winning again.
Yeah.
I can't look forward to it enough right now. It's going to be an amazing run.
Tyler, we got a minute left. Where can people find information on the Travel Club?
Yeah, Bird Gang Travel on Instagram, Facebook, and then also birdgangtravel.com. Packages will actually open up by the time they should be open any minute now.
Sure, yeah.
They will be open.
Come on, hit it on your phone.
Yeah,
Just
it will.
go.
They will be live before the end of the weekend. I can promise you.
Guys, we appreciate you coming in. Doug, appreciate you stopping by. Any
Absolutely.
final thoughts as we say goodbye here?
I'll give you the same one over again. This is your chance. This is the Arizona Cardinals moment. They've got to take it, and they've got to take it now.
They have to, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's beyond pastime. This team has all the talent in the world. It was really cool to see them win all those games at home for the first time in a long time last year. Yeah. Let's see if they can keep doing that. Guys, Eric, Tyler, Doug, Cam, thank you for watching on 12news.com and also listening on the Doug Franz Unplugged podcast. We will see you next time. Good night. God bless.